Just put it in there. I'm just trying to stream. We got one person. I also have this new mic, cheap mic. Do y'all hear anything when I do that? Let me know. We should be able to. I'm crawling back. Yeah, because Streamlabs will let me crawl back. Okay, you can hear that good. I'm asking because there's I have to use my headphone jack for this mic. Through the speakers, but I was just trying to make sure it worked. So I'm gonna just test it one more time. Just let me know. One more test. If you can hear that. I mean, does my audio sound better? I hope so. Not that it sounded bad before. I saw it. It was cheap, so might as well buy it. Doesn't hurt anything. Yes. Okay. Now I can hear it. Good. Is it loud? Would you say it's loud? I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch it. I don't plan on streaming for very long, by the way. I'd say there's a small margin of noticeable improvement. Yeah, I mean it's cheap, so I just thought, why not? Definitely isn't worse. Yeah, I'm sure it's not worse. Slav, what's up? I saw Jay. He hopped on. What's up? I'm going to go into my settings. Well, I guess I could do that later. Because I'm sure you can go in and increase your audio. What's the charger? I was going to play SWOTOR, but then I forgot I actually bought this today. So I wanted to come on here and play it. Or come on here and use it real quick. I'm not going to stream very long, like 30 minutes, 40 minutes maybe. Because I do want to play some SWOTOR if I go to bed. Because I'm just that paced, So how was everyone's Sunday? Was it good? Was it bad? Was it ugly? Oh yeah, and I also got this mug. I'm a cat person. Whoops. Cat person. True story. Matt's gonna pop on. I don't care. I'm not letting him on. Probably not gonna let anybody on stream because that will keep it long. It's just gonna be me. Sunday was mid. It was fine. I went to church this morning, which I love going to church, so that was fun. But then I had to work. I don't like working on Sundays. I mean, I can. I just don't like doing it. I'd rather work every other day. But it's fine. If it's one of those your choices, bad. But I'd say fine. Would you guys cover in church? I go to a Catholic church, so we cover a wide variety of things. I think I would say we read from they just announced that we were reading from a gospel. I mean, on the screen, it tells you the gospel. It's from Luke. But it was about technically a 3 First Timothy and then Luke. But it's basically about God's love. That's probably what I would say. What was your shift today? Probably, I think it was 4 to 9:30. 4 afternoon, 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. No, 4 a.m. No, I would never do that. I just got off a 4 to 8 parking lot shift. Are you talking about a.m.? 4 a.m. to 8 p.m. or 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. Or 4 p.m. to 8 a.m. Well, that you just got all those work. How's it going? It's going pretty good. Going pretty good. For the most part. I need to finish this book. Well, you can't see it, but I'm almost done with it. I have like 100 or so pages left. I need to finish it, though. I've been working on it for so long. I just haven't had a lot of time to just sit down where I can it was during COVID. I was able to sit down for an hour or 2 hours even and read. And I'd be able to knock out 100 pages each day, which is how I got through all that so fast. The NJO and a lot of the other books. But I haven't been able to do that with the Mandalorian Armor or the other books I've read, which sucks. But it's fine. Live in America, PM, okay. Dark Green. Marcel, that's not even your saying. That's Ethan's saying. Unless Ethan got that from you, but I'm not sure. And Matt, if you're on, I'm not letting you on. Sorry, I love you though. He's probably not on. He has kids. Hint, hint. Go to her channel, check it out. Yo, I just started that book, but what popped out of the solid was like, I agree. This is the book of Boba Fett of the EU, and let me tell you what, it's much better, much better. Not a dark greeting is from Jedi Prince, is it? I'll make it my thing. Dark greetings, there you go. W interview, I agree. I'll answer OG in that game on indoctrinate. If I haven't already been indoctrinated enough already. Speak of the devil, Ethan. My boy Lance is back. I'm back. Back in black. Not wearing black. I probably should have worn black for this so I could say that. I actually really like the second Bounty Hunter Wars book. Alex hates it, so I'm going to take that up with him. Perfect timing, I know. They talk 90% hating on Disney, Star Wars, and 10% actually. Well, I think what Allura does, she does a lot of genuine comparisons, I feel like. At least on her YouTube videos. For Twitter or something else, but I don't mind her Twitter, but her more informative, I feel like, and kind of goes through it. She shows the comparison, she compares them, and she talks about why the EU is better. Because, most people, you ask a Disney Star Wars, oh, Disney Star Wars is better. Well, here's Allura. She's experienced a lot of the stories in Disney Star Wars, and she's telling you why the EU is actually better. Of course I remember you, Titus. Yeah, I would say she does more of that. Also, Queen J to explain why I've been gone. I'm sure she... Haven't you been active in the group chat? I feel like you have. I don't know. Time goes by so fast these days. I don't keep up. Sure, I think you've been active though in the group chat. Maybe I'm just... I just don't feel like you've been gone. That's kind of where my head's at. Hey, Titus? Yeah, let's see if... Did you play Fallen Order? Yeah, I did. It's a Rebels ripoff, essentially, but it's still a fun game. I think the story was pretty pointless, though. Hey, we're going to resurrect the Jedi Order. Okay, you get the holocron, then you destroy it. And then people will be like, well, that obviously didn't happen. Like, I know it didn't happen. Then why are they writing stories about it if we know it's not going to happen? OG's Quinn art is great. Did she ever finish it? I'm not sure, actually. I feel bad because I don't know. It's just yeah, the last 2 weeks have been really busy. But I'm glad you're back. Glad you're back. Yeah, that's way better. It was pretty funny. I didn't think it was funny. I thought it was pointless. But I don't know. What do I know? What do I know? It's like how in TFU 2 when um, Vader gets captured. It's like we know he's not gonna stay captured, so I guess then it would be like the how, right? But it's just I felt like Fallen Order just missed the mark. It just was just a pointless story to me. What's your favorite Pantera album? I don't know what that is. Should I know what that is? Where's my phone? Ow. That wasn't good. Dark greetings, indeed, my friend. Picked up some new Transformers stuff, including Starscream. I don't know who any of those people are. You're not talking to me, so it doesn't matter. But unsubbed. I have my problems with Force Unleashed 1 and 2. Writing is bad for both. I don't feel like the writing for. I haven't played Force Unleashed 2. I need to play it. I want to play. I need to play it soon. I played Force Unleashed 1 though. I didn't feel like the writing was bad. I don't think the story is bad. It's just I didn't like the ending. I thought the ending was pretty horrible. The canon ending was pretty bad. He literally destroys Vader and the Emperor in a fight. Like I get he's powerful and that's fine, but he's not Vader and he's definitely not the Emperor. He definitely can't beat them both in a fight at almost at the same time. It wasn't at the same time; it was back to back. So that was my issue with it. My big issue was the ending, and the game really isn't that long. It's only like 6 hours, if that. Now, I guess it didn't feel long for me because I just had played Coder 1 and 2 before I played that, so it was when I got to the end, it was definitely a lot weirder. But I don't think the writing for most of the first one, I don't think it's bad. It's just writing for both TFU and TFU 2 was really good. I always hear people say TFU 2 is bad. 2 was less good than 1, but you write yourself into a hole when you kill the main character. See, that's why they shouldn't have made a second one. They didn't need to make a second one. He's dead. So they had to bring him back with cloning. I think that's a pretty bad premise. Yeah, you've always talked about how the novel is better, and I'm sure it is. Usually the books are always better. This part is about. I'll say this for Force Unleashed 1. It is all a John 14-year long contingency plan for Vader. Maybe that's funny. I think Force Unleashed 2 is necessary. Agreed. The story itself, Book Note is very good, and in my opinion, gives some necessary background on Force instead of cloning. That's true. I think Force instead of cloning needed to be talked about. It was eventually retconned that Force instead of cloning, it can affect your body physically, but it can also affect you mentally, and it obviously affected Sabayoth and Luke mentally. Love that. Yeah, that was cool. Agreed. Graphics look a lot better in that one though. Not that that matters. Novelizations are cool, but some people I have talked to don't like them. Why not? I think Kodor should have had a novelization, at least a comic book adaptation. Something. Does anyone else feel like TFU 1 and 2 achieve the integrity of the EU canon and other novels? No circular, but for Vader to have an apprentice like that. I don't think so. Why would it? Why would it cheapen the integrity? I mean, I get if you don't like Vader having an apprentice like that, but why would that cheapen the integrity of the EU? I don't understand. Oh, like, are you talking about like having an apprentice in general, or are you talking about having an apprentice like that powerful? And in that case, it's not really Vader's fault. Sarkula was just powerful because he's the descendant of two Jedi, the direct son of two Jedi. I don't mind Sarkula being powerful. I don't mind powerful characters. He's not a superhero. I guess he was kind of in the game. In the novel, he's a lot better. I feel like the story would fit. I don't. S-Canon is there for stories that just don't fit. I mean, you don't have to like those stories, but they fit in the continuity. S-Canon are for stories that could fit, but there's just something about them that doesn't make them fit, like the Marvel comics. Marvel comics fit. They are canon within the EU, but they're not C-canon because there's problems with that. S-Canon's secondary canon. It's for stories that could fit, but there's like a setback or something like that where they don't fit. There wasn't a whole lot in secondary canon. It was really just the Marvel comics, but even then, Chris Nelson made a great video about this. Secondary canon doesn't make a lot of sense anyway, so. Whoops. Man, I'm getting behind here. I feel like Matt right now. I'm talking about having it that powerful and have all this is happening. I don't know. I mean, again, I think it's fine, but see, I just don't think there's any place in the OT for there to have been a powerful character like Starkiller. It just didn't fit. It didn't need to fit. There was no need for it. And again, Starkiller is one of those rare characters where, they're really powerful. He was rare. And then, of course, he's dead by the OT, so. The events of TFU feel absurd to me. I wouldn't say that. I mean, I don't mind TFU. Maybe that's just where I'm coming from. I don't mind the story. I don't hate it. Yeah. Can fit into canon. Gosh. People don't like the Force Unleashed novel so much they did not like the pacing. I mean, yeah, it is a book based on a video game novelization. It's not going to be perfect. I think TFU says a deal too, especially with the Mon Cala during her video. Yeah. See, TFU was also established so we could get a better view of how the rebellion started. Going by the entirety of the Empire of Bene Kashyyyk. I don't understand what over 3 times the span 2 years. What's wrong with that? We kind of do that here in the world. Hell, freaking half of Europe was over here in the Americas for God knows how long before any nations were even established. It's like 2 centuries. Maybe not 2 centuries, but at least a century. Actually, yeah, maybe 2 centuries. Actually, it's not wrong. 1492. And they were always coming over here. New people always coming over here. I don't think that's a problem. I don't know. So that could be why they felt pacing was off. Perhaps they thought they were. I haven't read those novels. so I can't really comment on it. But if it's off, it's because it's a video game story. You're way further behind in the comments. That's true. Hey Max, how are you? Nice picture of Kyle Katarn there. Just kidding. Not Kyle Katarn. It's Disney's version of Kyle Katarn. I don't think Jyn Erso's a bad character, not gonna lie though. But saw a cringe video that claimed the canon tier system was fan made. Of course, person that was just all old Humper. Hey Max. D-Canon being Detours, the show that show. Yeah, D-Canon doesn't exist. If we're talking about Detours canon, if we're talking about Disney canon, obviously that exists, but D-Canon no. Max is our queen, for the record. The only out of place thing that TFU brought to me was Maul Killer. Look him up. He was. What do you mean, like how Proxy turned into Maul? What do you think of Dave Filoni? Oh. I love Dave Filoni. Seriously though, no, I don't think he's a good storyteller. I think he's the reason why the new canon is going down the rabbit hole that it's going down, and it's not good. So it doesn't make much sense logically by TFU Vader since the presence of Coda Merrick immediately also the slave case. I guess that would be a good point, Coda, but I think the idea of the Empire going there and for a whole bunch of times, in a short time span, I don't think that's inherently wrong. But mentioning Coda, that's Coda Merrick. I was thinking of Ram Coda for I don't know why, but thinking the Merrick family. I mean that's a good point. But I think it could be perhaps it could be retconned. We could say, well, maybe they were creating kind of a force field that stopped other force sensors from sensing them, but maybe something happened and they couldn't hold it anymore. So I guess that's what I would say. Jyn Katarn. You mean my man, the Revanchist? He's great. No, I'm talking about Max. Max is our queen. I might be biased regarding TFU. It was partially my introduction to the EU and Smith Calhoun's to his sick home school. Hey, there you go. Nothing wrong with liking it, Ethan. Liking it. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. A lot of people love that game. Even new canon fans. A lot of people love that game. Nothing wrong with that. I enjoyed the game. At least the combat. I love the combat in the game. It's a lot of fun. Vader going by TFU logic would have sniffed out Coda during Dark. Lord Rise of Darth Vader in the last few chapters. True. I guess that is a small plot hole, but honestly, I think it's easily fixed. God, I'm starting to get behind. Jyn Erso, Jyn Wars. Cassian Andor would be more Jyn Wars. A clone of Maul and Sarko created using both DNA who went unstable. He was some preview bundle exclusive character for the accounts. What? Well, I honestly don't mind that. A clone of Maul? I don't know, maybe Palpatine did create a clone of him. If it was Vader creating a clone of him, I don't know how. I mean, in the EU, Maul's brain survived and it got made into a hologram, so it's not the first time something like that's happened. George. That seems dumb to me that a story element would be exclusive. Yeah, I don't know. A clone of Maul. I mean, there was a clone of Vader. That I really don't care for in Galaxy Fear. Kyle Urso has a certain ring to it. I hate when story stuff are exclusive things and therefore inaccessible. It was probably like a add-on to the story. It's not like a part of it, but wish you could have gotten stories of Coda during the Clone Wars. If you're talking about Ram Coda, I agree. If you're talking about Coda Merrick, which I didn't even know that was his dad's name. Star Coda's dad, I know that was his name, but I guess that's not bad. There's a lot of stories that we could have gotten EU. A lot. Yeah, it's weird and stupid. I guess I can lay a piece of EU a bit. I don't understand. Here's the thing about Dave. I don't hate him. He told a really good story in Rebels. The problem is that he chose to fans. The story in Rebels was fine ultimately, but there's a lot of issues with it. Thrawn being in it. Do I have to get into that? I don't hate him either. I mean, people think I do. I don't. I don't like him. I don't like his storytelling. I don't like the way he tells stories, but I don't hate him. And my problem with him is he hates the EU. He disrespects it at every turn. So why should I like him? I like the EU more than I like Dave Filoni. Good Lord Almighty! If I skip your comment, my bad. DC almost got their hands on the unpublished cider novella. It's on. Ooh, I know that. You are Filoni. I brought the enslavement since a vast number of Wookiees are free and serve as bodyguards for Coda in the game. We don't see enslaved Wookiees till the time skip. That post is highly suspect. That's 1%. If it's Reddit, then that's probably not the best source. Hi, Lance. It's me, Dave Filoni. How's it going, man? If I ever met Dave Filoni, I'd ask for his autograph and then burn it. Casting had a briar. There you go. See, I remember watching. I'm like, that gun is so familiar. There's your answer. Cry about it. The Wii version of CFU is the best port. I don't have the Wii. I didn't know there was a Wii version. Yeah, I was. Girls. I have a friend at work who loves that song. He's a big Motley Crue fan. I will send a picture on the group that if you want to see more color. Okay. It's a way TFU is supposed to be a follow-up to Dark Lord, hints towards the invader contemplates getting an apprentice over there. Palpatine, this may have been a reference to Luke. That's cool. I mean, the EU is not perfect in terms of continuity. Dig the mustache? It's not that. It was actually a lot longer days ago, but I shaved it. Ramakoto would have been amazing. Imagine that. That would have been cool. Quillen Voss recently played that version of the game on Switch. Lots of love. Lots to love. Hate everything that's unique to it. It is never touched on it. Yeah. I'm watching Lance being radicalized against you. Missed it, actually. How does Dave Filoni hate the EU? Go watch Dave Filoni's Clone Wars and then compare it to the Clone Wars Multimedia Project. There's your answer. And then go see how he characterized Thrawn and Rebels and compare that to the Zahn books. The original ones. For the record. If you're going to bring up the new ones, that doesn't make sense. But yeah, that is how Filoni hates the EU. He never respected it. He never respected its continuity. So. George Lucas had a right to do that. George Lucas never read the EU, or at least in terms of the books. He read the comics. He never contradicted the comics. It was just one book. All he contradicted was Tales of the Bounty Hunters, and that's a short story in a novel. And it's not like it was that hard to fix anyway. It was very simple to fix. But George Lucas, he's the owner. He's the CEO. He was the president. He can do whatever the frick he wants. He didn't have to follow the continuity. Filoni, on the other hand, technically he didn't have to follow it either, but he should have. He knew what he was doing. There's the difference. Lucas most likely didn't know what the EU was doing. He can let them do his own thing, but Filoni knew enough about the EU to put a lot of the EU into Filoni's Clone Wars, or into his Clone Wars. But just because Lucas did something doesn't mean that someone else can do it or not do it. So, and no, I mean, he didn't do it like Filoni did. He contradicted one short story. Dave Filoni made the Clone Wars. No, he didn't. George Lucas created the show, but he basically gave Filoni creative freedom to do whatever he wanted. George Lucas wrote nothing in Filoni's Clone Wars. Nothing. He didn't write one script. Not one script is attributed to him. Not one writing credit is attributed to George Lucas. If you watch the featurettes, he's pretty clear, Filoni is. Lucas gave ideas for scripts, but not all those ideas were used. For example, ideas for scripts also, but ideas just in general. For example, in Malevolence, when Plo Koon is in outer space with his mask on, Lucas didn't like that initially, but Filoni thought, okay, he's fine, and then they went with that anyway. So I'm not saying that if Lucas didn't have a creative authority, he did, but all he did was approve scripts, which is exactly what he did with the EU. He approved every single novel. He may not have read the novels, he may not have read all the comics. I think he read a lot of the comics. I mean, Super Stony and Zahn have both said that Lucas read the comics, which actually makes a lot of sense because pretty much every single EU reference Lucas makes in the prequels are from comics. But the point is, Lucas had as much involvement with the EU that he did with Filoni's Clone Wars. Now, what I will say is he did help create the character of Ahsoka. He did do that. I will say that. That's been proven. But beyond that, in fact, what's actually interesting is Filoni, or the Blue Shadow Virus arc, Lucas actually suggested it, and that was actually based off of a comic that the EU did. And it was Lucas who suggested that. So there's an example of Lucas reading the comics and liking it. So again, you can watch all the featurettes. It goes pretty big into it. At least Filoni does. I mean, Filoni says multiple times that Lucas didn't write anything. Yeah, the only thing he really did was when they were sitting down and talking about the story, the writers would go over it. Filoni and his team would go over it, and then George Lucas would make tweaks here and there, and then which really didn't happen that much anyway, and then approve the story or disapprove it if he didn't like it. So, and that's exactly what he did with the EU writers and the people at Lucas will say, "Hey, Lucas, this is our." Hey, Lucas, they won't say that, but they say, "Hey, George, this is what we got going on here. This is what we want to make." And Lucas would say yes or no on it. I mean, Lucasfilm's been pretty clear on that. And they've also been clear that Lucas approved everything. There you go. George did direct. He actually created the story for those movies, believe it or not. He created Sinel Tuwani. He created the Tuwani family. He wrote the entire story for both of those movies. He didn't write the script, but he did write the story. People believe that. I think it's dumb people that people believe that. Dave Filoni loves the sequels. Especially when involved in editing. That's editing. That doesn't mean anything to me. It's not story. I don't care then. I'm talking about George Lucas' involvement with the story, not the editing. I don't care about the editing. The guys who wrote The Force Unleashed met with George for a long time. Yeah. Supported Vader having an apprentice, but you can lay on that. Yeah. See, back then they used fax machines, and they kind of did a mini documentary about this. The Force Unleashed team, as they were watching this fax machine of Lucas's response to all these different things that they asked him to check off or not, they were like, oh, they were really excited to see what he was going to say. Yeah, that was proven. I think I don't remember where he got that source. I think it was a book that the main character who wrote, the guy who played Mace. I think he's the one who confirmed that. I'm not positive though. But the credits did give him writing credits. He had more creative involvement with the freaking Ewoks movies than he ever did Filoni's Clone Wars. And I die on that hill. Heir to the Empire Throne can't take down Luke Skywalker or Mara Jade. In what way? In like a lightsaber battle? Yeah. Is that a... George didn't write Empire? Yeah, he did. He didn't write the screenplay, but he wrote the story. The story was all created by him. He did not write the screenplay, yeah, but he wrote the story. But he came up with the loose story. Lucas was one of the stories in Clone Wars, so is Empire Not George's. Irvin Kershner directed it. I'm not talking about the director or the editor or the producer. I'm talking about the writers. Lucas wrote the story for Empire. I mean, if I could have the poster right over here. Okay, look. Screenplay by Lee Brackett and Lawrence Kasdan. Story by George Lucas. Go look up the Empire Strikes Back poster. It'll say that. He may not have written the screenplay, but he wrote the story. He created the entire story, and they gave it to Lee and Lawrence to write the screenplay. Which Lucas never did that for Filoni's Clone Wars. He never wrote a story and told Filoni and his team of writers, hey, write a screenplay for this. He never did that. Lucas, or Filoni and his team would get together, write the stories, write the screenplays, and give it to Lucas. Or the scripts. It wouldn't really be a screenplay, it's a TV show, but that's what they would do. Lucas never wrote any... If he wrote a story, if he wrote the entire story of an episode or a series of episodes, he would have gotten credit for that, but you never see that anywhere in Filoni's Clone Wars. You never see it, because it didn't happen. I love Ahsoka though. That's a fine opinion. You're more than welcome to have. I don't have a problem with that. He came up with ideas for certain arcs, but not all of his ideas were used. He came up with the ideas for the arcs, but he never wrote out entire story arcs and gave it to his team to make. He never did that. And I don't ever remember saying that he came up with certain arcs. Again, he came up with ideas. There's a big difference between full written out stories and ideas. There's a big difference between those two. And I'm not trying to diminish Lucas's involvement with the Clone Wars. I'm not. I'm not doing that. I'm simply stating what is true. There's this huge misconception that Filoni had, or that Lucas had this huge creative role in Clone Wars, but he really didn't. He had about the same amount of involvement that he did in Filoni's Clone Wars that he did with the EU, approving scripts and stuff, throwing out ideas if they need it. That's about it. He never wrote entire stories for the EU, and he never wrote entire stories for the Clone Wars. He never did that. There are other topics. Yeah, I know, but typically they're really talking to each other. Do you just not want me to give you any more attention? Am I embarrassing you? Just kidding. Lance, the ultimate debate as a fellow Ewoks fan, do you prefer Wicket with Nisa or Milani? Nisa, for sure. For sure, hands down. Princess Nisa. In the EU, they They led the after what is his name? Not Chief Chirpa. After Chief Chirpa, I don't know if he died or if he stepped down. I'm pretty sure he died. Not sure though. Wicket and Nisa that took over. It was Nisa, but then Wicket was with her, so they got married in the EU. I don't know about the new canon. I don't care about the new canon. Well, I guess I mean I know Wicket has a child in the new canon. I don't know. I don't know if he ever got with Nisa though. On a Star Destroyer field, Thrawn shooters. Y'all talking about Thrawn? See, Blue Pig hates the Thrawn trilogy, so I'm not giving him attention. That's why I'm not giving him attention. Got your Lance. I let it go for now, but got more points with Clone Wars. I'd let you on, but I need to be going soon. So isn't that a comic? I know that it's a later Dark Horse comic. And streams, dude. See you, Slav. Good night, man. And sorry if I sounded rude or mad at you. I'm not mad at you. I don't get mad at people. I just get a little heated. Not heated, but like, passionate about that. Still love you, Slav. I love your name, by the way. I think it's a cool name. Nisa is genuinely one of the best parts of the show. One of these days on Reddit, Nisa trilogy. Well, they probably actually do that too. Not that I'd complain. Well, if it's new canon, I don't care. But if it's EU, there we go. There you go. If you're going to, are you comparing the Rebel cell that we see in Rebels to the fully established New Republic? Like, obviously, he's not going to be perfect and going against a New Republic, a whole government with a whole military. He's not going to be like, it's not going to be like one gotcha, but if it's EU, you throw EU Thrawn with the same intelligence, or with the intelligence of EU Thrawn and Rebels, yeah, I don't think Phoenix Squadron would have lasted very long. I think EU Thrawn would have known what a Purrgil was, and we would have had a way to combat it. I don't know, but if you're talking about specific stuff from the Zahn's trilogy, I probably can't comment. I need to reread the trilogy. But I'll forever. I mean, even if it's the same intelligence, his story is different, and that alone is why I don't like him in the new canon. Anyway, guys, I said I had to do a quick stream. I wasn't gonna do this very long, so I think I'm gonna go ahead and go. I had like 12, 13 people on, which is great. I kind of give all the credit to OG though, because she brought a lot more publicity to my page, and I very much appreciate that. Was it though? What about the Empire? You think it was anywhere close? No, it wasn't. The Empire was in complete shambles. The New Republic was strong. I mean, shoot, they had Coruscant. They took Coruscant back. So, I don't think that's the great point. I mean, if you're comparing the New Republic to the Imperial Remnant, there wasn't even an Imperial Remnant yet. It was just a whole bunch of remnants by that point. But with the New Republic, shoot, they'd taken freaking Coruscant back. They defeated Istar and the Lusnaka. They took Coruscant back from the Empire. I don't know. I don't. Yeah, maybe they didn't have galactic power like they would eventually have, like the Empire had, for example. but they weren't as strong and cohesive as a handful of sand. I think that's pretty far stretched. But I can tell you what, the New Republic in the new canon, or in the EU, at least by the Thrawn trilogy, was a hell of a lot stronger than what the Rebel freaking Phoenix Squadron was. I can tell you that much. Go ahead and send Phoenix Squadron to Coruscant. Go ahead and send it to Imperial Center. Let's see what happens to them. They're not gonna last very long. There you go, boss. Anyway, guys, I think I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. Thank y'all for joining. I'm probably gonna go play some SWTOR. That sounds like fun, right? Maybe, I don't know. I'll probably should go to bed anyway. I want to play SWTOR, but anyway, y'all have a great, great, great night. Thanks for joining. Also, I don't know if you're didn't see it earlier. I thought I should show you guys my cat person. Oh gosh, I hate when I see people say things like this. A children's show that has Grand Admiral Thrawn in it, a character only older people would understand. It's not a children's show. That's more reason why Thrawn should have defeated them instantly. No, not instantly, but nothing like what happened in Rebels. That's more reason. EU Thrawn, he had a shattered freaking empire, and he was going against a faction that's way stronger than the Phoenix Squadron. Yet New Canon Thrawn had a whole empire established under him, and he couldn't defeat a rebel still. What else did you mean then? I don't understand. Why say that then? Because, see, that's a pet peeve I have when I am giving genuine criticism for Star Wars and people say, well, it's just a children's show. It's just a children's movie. Right? It's not that big a deal. It's like, no, it's not. It's not just a children's show or movie or whatever. It's nothing like that. If Rebels was a mere children's show, it would have been something like Star Wars Resistance. Resistance had really no cameos or no nothing. Cameos is weird, but like it didn't have any fan service. How about that? Are the good guys in a children's show just going to get utterly blasted? Well, no. Then don't put Thrawn in it. Then if that's not going to happen, create a new villain. And again, that's why I hate when people say that. It's just a children's show. That's not going to happen. Then create a different story then. Because at this point, now you're ruining a character that I love very much. It's one of the reasons why I am an EU fan. And, yeah, don't put him in a children's show then. And it's not even a children's show. It's a show that's aimed for younger kids, but it's also there for everyone to watch. Again, IGN did freaking reviews of each and individual episode of that show every time they came out. Thrawn was in it. There's other EU references. It's not just Thrawn. Rook was in it as well. There's other examples. It's not. If it was a mere children's show, you would not have had those kind of characters in it. Anyway, I'm gone. I'm done debating people. You have a great night.